rebel 3, rebel 4, rebel 5. Yeah. 1 rebel 2, rebel 3, rebel 4, rebel 5. Ooh yeah.
Oh, time to talk story. So, like the thumbnail says, I was humbled by an 11-year-old kid. Um, so the 11-year-old kid was my son. But anyways, let me see. How can I start this story? Obviously, you guys see I'm a trucker. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I'm a child of God, and I was able to take my son with me on the road for 3 weeks. My 11-year-old. That's why I haven't done any. I haven't made a video in like a month because I've been with him the whole time. But how he humbled me. Let me tell you guys. At the end of this story, there's a lesson that I want to share. That's important. That's the whole reason why I'm doing this. But so he was with me for 3 weeks. I just got back on the road day before yesterday. I was home for 4 days after I dropped him off. So he was with me for 3 weeks. The first 2 weeks were really smooth. We were having a blast. You know, he was in the back playing, or he was sitting up here with me. We were goofing around. It was truly, it was really special. It was a special time. I really appreciate it. You know, I'm a busy guy. I'm not home as much as I used to be. I used to be home every day. I used to work from home, and I spent a lot of time with my kids. So I'm away for 4, 5, 6 weeks. But when I'm home, I give my kids all my attention. So, you know, my son's 11. He's starting to hit that age where he's growing really quick. He's changing real quick. So it was a blessing to be able to hang out with him for 3 weeks, just me and him. But back to the whole point of this. The first 2 weeks were fine. We had a bunch of fun, and about 8 or 9 days before the last day of me being on the road with him, before I went home, I got a load, and this load was going to end that pay period, and I was going to get the biggest payday I've ever gotten in trucking, and that's a big deal. Not that I'm a money hungry guy, but I provide. You know, my wife, she stays home. She's a mom, and she takes care of her mom, and she makes a little bit of income from that. So that's why I work so hard. I got to provide for my family, right? My two older kids, they're young adults. They definitely contribute, but we have big plans. We're trying to get back to Hawaii. I got a big financial burden and responsibility. So I was like, yes, I'm going to finish out this week, bring home a big paycheck. Awesome. But unfortunately, right when we were out in front of the shipper getting ready to go pick up the load, the truck broke down, which was very frustrating, right? So I was hoping, I kind of had an idea what the problem was, and I was hoping it would just take maybe a couple of hours to get it fixed, and I could still pick up this load, drop it off in time, and make that money. But unfortunately, the company said the truck could only get fixed at a dealership. So obviously that load was long gone. I didn't get to haul it, which was really frustrating to me. Things have been going so smoothly. It was very irritating, stressful. I mean, I knew we were going to be fine financially. It's not like we were going to be ruined, right? We're good, but just the extra money that we need to make so we can go back to Hawaii was, you know, that's just another obstacle that was going to slow down our process. So, you know, it was irritating. My son saw the stress on me, and, you know, I kept my cool, right? And I told my son, hey, you know, this is why it's bothering me so much, because dad has a big responsibility. It was an opportunity to teach him that things don't always go the way you planned, and when they don't, you got to deal with it the best you can. So we ended up having to go to a hotel for 4 nights, which sucked. I mean, I still make money when there's a breakdown, but not nearly as much as I do when I'm actually rolling. So we hung out at the hotel, we had fun, whatever. Get back in the truck. The truck ends up getting stuck in the mud. That my company gave me bad directions, so I ended up at a work site where I wasn't supposed to be, and because of that, that work site couldn't let me back out the way I wanted to, so I had to get out of the work site a certain way. Ended up stuck in the mud, damaged the truck. And the company knows it wasn't my fault. My company knew they gave me the bad directions. That's on them. So it was just all bad, right? That week was ending in a really crappy way. And I was just like, oh, I was up to here with the frustration. And, you know, and it's funny because, you know, it's been the last 3 or 4 months, maybe not, maybe like 2 or 3 months, I've been asking God to give me more patience because, the responsibilities I have as a man, they can be very stressful, and our family has big plans. We want to get out of Texas and go back to Hawaii, and it's not going to be cheap. My whole family is depending on me to be able to. We have a game plan in place, right? I'm gonna end up working for myself again, but trucking right now is a vehicle that we need to get me to that point. And every mistake, every misstep slows down that process, which may delay our our time going back to Hawaii. And my whole family is depending on me to do it. So it's just the weight. It can be very heavy at times, and I get lost in this thought process of like, man, if this wouldn't have gone wrong, or this mistake or this issue is going to domino effect, and it's going to delay X, Y, and Z, which might mean 6 months of. It's just this whole thought process goes by, and it's not good, and it's not good for me to be that way. It's not good for Christians in general to be this way, because when you start going down this line of thinking, you're essentially turning away from God and saying, I don't trust you to to guide my family or my life where it needs to go. I have to do it myself. And if you trust God, then whatever happens, happens. God's got your back. So me stressing and dwelling on these things is essentially me not trusting God. And I don't want to be that type of man. I want to trust God. I definitely want to. If whatever's in my immediate vicinity of responsibilities, I'm going to tend to the best of my ability. The things that are out of my control are out of my control. I gotta trust God and not stress on them. So I've been asking God to give me the wisdom and the patience to be this type of man. And it all kind of came to a head this final week where I had my son with me. I didn't want him to go through this stressful time with me, but here we were. So as we were going back and forth from the hotel, my son, my 11-year-old, he lost his Yeti, which my daughter, his sister, got for him, and she got his name put on and everything. It was a super sweet gift she got for her little brother, right? And the thing about my son, my 11-year-old, is he's very protective of his property. He's very organized. I mean, that kid takes care of everything. Everything he's ever had since he was a little guy, he's always taken care of. So when he lost it, I was like, my heart was kind of broken for him, because I know how much his things mean to him. And I was like, oh, my son, you lost it. We were trying to retrace our steps. It was gone. He lost it. It was gone. And I'm like, oh, my poor son's gonna be bummed out. I felt more sad for him than I felt about the whole situation with the truck and stuff, because he's my son. I love my kids. I love them more than anything. Um, so he was like, we dwelled on it for like 5 minutes, and he surprised me because he basically said, well, can you get me something else to have water in? Just something plastic. I don't need much. I can get another thing later. It's okay. Which caught me off guard. My son, oh man, he showed me so much wisdom and patience in that moment. And it kind of took me back. And I was like, whoa. And I was like, yeah, yeah, we'll go and get you something at the next truck stop. We went in. I literally just bought him a plastic bottle of water. And he was like, okay, boom. He went back to doing his thing like nothing happened. And it kind of shocked me. In that moment, God spoke to me. And I'm going to try to articulate the download. It was like God downloaded a lot of information. And I'm going to try my best to articulate what it was and what it is. So, I've learned a lot of lessons on my the hard way. I'm sure a lot of men, most people out there, when you learn a lesson the hard way, what makes it hard is that it sucks. It stings. You make big mistakes in life. You suffer because of them. But that pain and that suffering is what solidifies that lesson. You learn that lesson, you never forget it. You know, if you, I don't know, if you screwed up a job, if you screwed up a business deal, if you lost something, right? If you lost something or you felt pain because of a mistake you made, and if you're actually strong enough to hold yourself accountable, it sucks. You know what I mean? You get defeated, but then you learn a strong lesson because of that. And that's how I've learned a lot of my lessons. I've gained a lot of wisdom through going out into the world and just doing things, right? Some lessons hurt more than others. But what God did for me in that moment, he the what I've been asking and praying to God for is patience, uh, to give me grace, to allow me to trust Him. Teach me to trust you, God, so I don't have to stress the way I've been stressing, because it's a useless exercise to be that stressed. To dwell on things is such a waste of time, and it's a disrespect to the Father, and I don't want to be that man. So I've been asking Him to teach me, right? So in that moment, He was able to stick this lesson in my mind. And, you know, the best way I could articulate this is, my wife is the opposite of me. I'm a guy, obviously. My wife is a woman, and I'm very aggressive, very heavy-handed. I used to fight. I rolled around, did MMA, literally bare knuckle fought other men. I've almost died a couple times. My wife is the opposite of that. She's very feminine, very soft. We're opposites in a lot of ways, but we work so well. But God gave me this wife, gave me this woman, and she's been able to balance me and teach me patience in a way that nobody else has. And in that moment, I saw the same patience and understanding that my wife has. I saw it in my son. So God was able to teach me in that moment that it's almost like He knew. Of course, he God knows everything, the beginning from the end, and He knew that I'm the type of. He made me a certain type of man that where I'm very aggressive and very hands-on and I can be very controlling of the situations in my life. And He's like, I'm gonna give you a wife that's gonna be the opposite of you, that has so much patience and so much love and grace that you're gonna not be able to help but learn from her. And in that moment, He showed me that same patience that my wife has in my son, because He didn't learn that from me. He learned that from my wife. So I was slapped in the face with the reality that my son in that moment had more patience and grace and understanding than I've had that whole week. And I know losing a Yeti is not as big as losing money, but to him it is. I know it is to him because I know my son. He hates losing his stuff, and he never loses his stuff, so I know it was a big deal to him. But I don't know, he must have seen and understood in that moment, we had a rough week, and it's better just to let it go and move on. So God is so wise that He gave me a wife that would be able to teach my son the patience that I could never teach him, which gave me such a gratitude and appreciation for the Father. And I saw his brilliant plan that He's been putting pieces of the puzzle in my life from 20 years ago that would serve me today. And it gives me, and at the same time, it humbled me to see how much in control He is of my life, and it gave me, it taught me, or it is teaching me to trust Him so much, because He's been putting pieces, like I said, pieces of the puzzle in my life since before that are finally, He's been planting seeds that are starting to yield fruit now. My wife that He gave to me back in the days gave me a son that is now teaching me lessons about the very thing I've been asking to be taught lessons in. And at the same time, it makes me feel so proud of my wife, so proud of my son, and so proud of the type of people or the type of man my son's going to become. When my son's my age, he's going to be the master of so many things that I'm still struggling with. And that's the wish of every father, of every parent, that you want to see your kids do way better than you're doing at your age, right? And it's like gratitude. It's a powerful lesson wrapped in gratitude, wrapped in pride for my son, wrapped in being humbled by God. Usually when we learn hard lessons, they hurt. This was a hard lesson that felt good. This is a hard lesson that filled me with joy, pride, and humbleness at the same time. Never in my life have I experienced this mix of good emotions all at the same time. Usually you get humbled, and that's all you feel with it. You never get humbled and get made to feel proud at the same time. You never get taught patience and get humbled and feel proud at the same time. So all these beautiful emotions, God was able to download and deliver in one instant, and only in a way that God can. So the lesson is this, guys. because I try to trust God, and it's not easy. Not that God isn't trustworthy, it's just that I'm so broken and so weak as a man that it's to trust somebody is hard. It takes strength because to trust, you have to let go. You have to let go of control. You have to close your eyes and do a trust fall, right? And that's scary and it takes courage. So if you just show God a little bit of trust, and if you just have a little bit of courage, that's all he needs, and he'll do the rest. So my lesson to you, men, women, whoever the hell is listening to this video or watching this video, give God genuine trust. It doesn't take much. He can turn that into one of the most beautiful lessons you've ever had in your life. So this is why I'm making this video. I want to share this experience with you guys, and I pray in the name of Jesus that it helps you, that it teaches you like it's taught me. Do me a favor, comment, subscribe, share. I gotta start remembering to say that in these videos. Comment, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. Help me push these videos out. I love you guys. That's all for today. Shoots and aloha.